How about now? Tell me that's better. Nice. Okay. I'm sorry I'm so late. Holy shit. I wasn't for what just happened to me. Absolutely no excuse. But 2 hours ago, I wouldn't ever be able to talk at all. Not at all. All right. Sound okay. How's everybody doing tonight? Sorry I'm late. Most of you guys have been watching for like the last couple weeks know I've had some teeth issues. And maybe like 30 minutes before I came on tonight, all hell broke loose. Finally, the tooth gave way. It was on its way out, right? Some evidence. Son of a bitch. It was on its way out, but probably around 8:30, and we were on our way back to the house, and I noticed I couldn't really talk because every time I smacked my lips up against not lips, yeah, my lips and tongue up against my teeth, this thing was literally moving inside my jawbone. So it had to be completely separated from the rest of the jaw, which it is now. And shit. But speak. I think I have enough enunciation. You guys can hear me, so that's good. But yeah, the tooth has been bothering me for almost 3 months now. Finally gave way 2 hours ago. But I don't hear. I can't notice anything really different in the speech. Maybe you guys can. Do I sound strange at all? With I'm not positive, but I think this is one of the canines. It's got to be, with how sharp it is. But yeah, I am so sorry that I am so late, but there was no way I was talking to anyone until that was out, and I got the inside of my jaw cleaned up a little bit. And yeah, that's going to be at least $2,500 probably to get a new one. Speaking's okay. All right, that's good. I honestly, I thought I was going to be in a lot of trouble when that came out. I said, man, there's no way I'm going to be able to talk normal anymore on the internet, or trying to do a voiceover for a video. But I don't notice it right now, so I will thank my lucky stars. That's not terrible. Mike says sounds fine. I guess maybe you don't use your bottom canines that much when you speak. You know what the problem was last couple of weeks was that it kept moving every time I would make contact with it. And that probably had an effect on my speech. Whereas now I can freely move everything around to create the sounds I need without pain. Even though my jaw hurts, it's not ringing in my jaw. It's not bouncing off my jaw like it was, hitting the nerve. Alice says can't tell. All right. I'm very happy that that's the case. I thought I was going to be in a lot of trouble and I was going to need like a couple grand dental work. I was starting to freak out. And then once tonight, there was a big shift at one point when I bit down on something and I said, oh, yeah, no, we're not going to be able to do this tonight. But once it came out and I cleaned up, it's actually not. I'm in less pain now than I was 2 hours ago. And if you guys are saying that I sound all right, still have the accent, says Mike. All right. Jesus, thank you, Lord. I really thought, I'm like, I might not be able to talk for a couple of weeks until I fixed. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. I'm very thankful. Jeez. That could have been really bad. Yeah, I mean, you guys probably don't know this, but I already have a bunch of teeth in the back missing from when I was younger. I had a really bad problem grinding my teeth at night. And I think I'm already missing. I was missing 2 teeth already before this one just came out. So I'm missing 3 teeth in this side of my mouth right now. The other two were further back, so I didn't think they ever affected my speech. Probably affected the way I broke down food. But this one, well, you guys have heard me the last couple weeks. It definitely sounds different. You can tell. I can tell from how many takes I have to do before I upload a video. Because if there's ever like a run on S's in a sentence, I'd be screwed. Until I went back and took my time and pronounced it right. But yeah, I don't hear a huge shift in the voice tonight, so I guess I can save off disaster for a little longer. All right, let me say hey to some people in the Barry Sean says go with partial. No man, it's gone. This is it. Gone. Yeah. See you later. You know, it's funny when I first had issues with my teeth 3 years ago was when I first started investing in AMC, and I was like, man, I'll be able to get the best dentist work. Like, think about it, I'll be able to get all new implants, and here we are on 11/25. Not only do I have not got implants, but I've lost another tooth in the process. Lord help us. All right. If by some chance, Tony, you're listening right now, I just sent the link to you, T. I spoke to Tony real quick before we came on tonight because we want to talk about AMC and the market and some stuff. But because I got in late, I just sent him over the link. So heads up, T, if you're listening, you have the link in your email. And if not, I'm late, get a chance to get it to you earlier. Dennis says, put to your pillow. I know. I wish, yeah, those were the good old days, right? Well, at least I could count on a couple bucks. But now, look at is that going to get me? At least when I was younger, it was to find some Skrilla under my pillow, if you know what I mean. If my grandparents happen to be in town, or nowadays, yeah, there are no perks. No perks to losing. Damn, that's crazy. Yeah, I didn't think it's crazy too because I put the memo out or the thumbnail, a couple hours ago, saying Pacific time, so I knew it was gonna be late. But then once this happened, I'm like, whoa, now I'm really gonna be late. Get on it all. But once I did a couple of rehearsal sentences, realized it was actually better because I wasn't feeling the pain anymore. I was like, okay, there's no need for me. There's no reason I shouldn't go on tonight. People are expecting me to, and get my ass out there as long as I'm able to speak. I see that. Come on, Mike. No need for that. Sarcasm. But yeah, I'm gonna be. If we don't make money on the stock soon, I'm getting. This is the way my sick mind works, though, with AMC. When I was first buying in a day, I was like, oh, 20 shares a day is, that's nothing. Right? I'll have brand new dental work. That's a wise investment. Alice does still handsome. Thanks, Alice. I don't know about that, but as long as I didn't, again, with YouTube and these, social media and stuff, the ability to enunciate and pronounce words is really important. Like, you need to be able to communicate with your audience. If you can't talk right, there's no YouTube. So, yeah, I dodged a huge bullet. I was dreading the tooth coming out, saying, "Man, I hope that doesn't change everything." And then I'm just not able to enunciate anymore because that would, with documentary and everything, I have to be able to use big words and put them into sentences that sometimes sound like they run on. So if you can't really, push out your dialogue, this isn't the media platform for you. Thank you, Alice. Dennis, how you doing tonight? Barry says I only have 5 teeth on the top, a partial heels, and the missing one. All right, so I guess I'm one ahead of you, Barry Electronics. I got more than 5. God bless you. 5's a decent number. Alice says you were talking perfectly. Okay, good. Yeah, I got very lucky. I was like, man, what did I do to deserve this? Why, God, would you take another tooth from me? On all things, a cherry cheese Danish. You're gonna take me out with a little stinky piece of cherry seed. Yeah. All right, that's good, man. I am very, very happy. All right. So I put in the thumbnail tonight some stuff. Let me pull this up. And again, I'll say it one more time if you haven't tuned in yet or you're just I'm very sorry I'm late, but my tooth that's been pestering me now for a couple weeks, you guys have already mentioned it multiple times, finally came out like about a half an hour before I was about to go on tonight. And I had to kind of just get the inside of my mouth cleaned up, make sure I got the bleeding stopped, and that's why I'm here so late, so I apologize. But I was like, man, if I ever have an excuse for being late, tonight would be it. Yeah, we rushed to finish dinner and get back here and everything. And then this happens, but we knew it was coming out. Just a matter of when. All right, so I saw today on Twitter. By the way, how's everyone doing? How's everyone Thanksgiving? Has everyone recovered from food yesterday? Do we have leftovers all day? Dennis is in the house. Barry Electronics. I got. Let me throw up. Gus. Gus says, Mash, you think AMC will stay above 6? So I'll be honest with you guys. I went today over to watch Ant's trades a little bit. And, you say what you want, but, from occasion, time to time, if I have a little extra time, I will go around the AMC community and just check in with what everyone's talking about, right? Because maybe I pick up on something that I'm not aware of, or it's always good to listen to everyone's opinion on things and get multiple speculative outcomes. Especially for you guys who are out there day trading AMC, right? Because these guys do good technical analysis on the stock. A lot of times they can nail things, down to the candle. But there's a lot of things that, also that they say are going to happen that don't, right? Especially on the long term, trying to speculate out 3-4 months in advance or based it off earnings and stuff like that. That's very hard to do right now. So, but if you're trading on a smaller time frame and, there is some credence to historical patterns and laying out charts and Fibonacci sequences and all those, all the technical analysis you can do on a chart. There is rhyme to the reason. The only thing is, with AMC, it's just very different. It's a totally different animal. It's it's constantly changing into different things. And there are always elements to the story that are being added as we go along in this play that no one can prepare for, that can move the price. So, even though I don't have a ton of faith in the technical analysis that people do out there, like I said, this morning when I got up, I saw a lot of AMC videos out, people talking about, what to look forward to on Monday. And I wanted to get some, because I don't follow the charts like I used to. Like maybe some of you guys do right now. I used to follow the chart all day, every day. And that was making me an emotional wreck. And I had to stop doing that. And then I realized I was doing that with my whole portfolio. After I said, all right, I got to chill with AMC, I started doing it to every stock, which was 10 times worse. Especially since at that time we're on the huge bear run. Everything was getting annihilated. So I had to really take a step back from the brokerage account get my emotions in check and say, listen, the market runs in cycles. It's a bull, and sometimes there's bullish runs, sometimes there's bearish runs. And right now, there's a lot of algorithmic trading going on that you have very little control over, but you can base some technical analysis off historical patterns. And so I went over to Ants Trades to see what he said. But I saw Avi today on Twitter was recommending another guy. Maybe chat, you can help me out with this name. I think I bookmarked it. Hold on, let me pull it up. I think his name was Nicholas, and his last name maybe started with a P. If you know who I'm talking about, put his name in the chat for me. Marked it. Let me take a quick look. Jeez, I hope I caught a big with this too. I really don't hear a huge difference in the. Do I have it clipped? On Friday night, I was talking about the community on Twitter here. And a lot of people were saying previous to Friday night or Thursday, Thanksgiving, that, some of them left Twitter and they don't get involved with it too much anymore. And I get it, because it can be very divisive and tribes on Twitter. And, you don't fit everyone, but it doesn't mean you can't still follow people just to see what are the vibes, put feelers out there, right, to the community. All right. See on restream. Hang on. I think I got too many windows open. Damn it. I'll probably have my hand up around my mouth a lot tonight, just because having that gap right now. So I feel like everyone can see it, which I know you can looking back at the camera. But I'm first about it right now, even though I don't really hear it. By the way, for those of you guys who follow my channel and still get the notifications, yeah, I'm gonna close out some windows here real quick. I think it's already in pulling up screens. I think. Hopefully, you might not be able to see me right now, but should still be. All right, here we go. Yeah, it's running super slow right now on the computer. I don't have a ton of things open. I got 4 or 5 windows open right now. And it's 11 o'clock Pacific time. Can't be a ton of people online right now. I'm pulling down the. Sorry, guys. Slow right now. I don't know what you see on the screen because studio page is taking a long time to reload. I don't think you see anything but me. Shit. I wish I knew why. Because I'm late and I have a lot of things I want to get to. I can't even get the screen to come up right now. Screen share access. Why? Why give me a hard time? Oh, okay. Now, the Twitter will come up. There we go. Okay. So, Here were the first 2 videos earlier today. By the way, tomorrow's first video is going to be about what's going on in Dublin right now. Conspiracy wormhole last night, but deep into some organization now that just connecting some dots to people who wield a lot of influence in this country. I happen to find some interesting correlations about what's going on in Western border. People, individuals, organizations that they represent and donate heavily to, and how they in turn fund and on a substantial substantial rate get certain states elected in order to push their politics onto the world stage through the United States military. And it's pretty weird what went on. When I finally, I probably got done around this morning. I was looking up this. Let me just switch out Twitter for a second. This whole tonight's live stream got a little messed up because of the tooth thing. I don't have really everything in order, and I wanted to. Someone made a mention the other night that I should be cutting this up into segments, but the tooth just kind of threw in everything tonight. I lost my collab partner, probably. He's probably pissed. Again, Tony, if you're listening, I just sent you the link. I finally got cleaned up. All right, here we go. Open this back on. All right, you should be seeing a newspaper article. Nope. Let's try this again. I think Irish Times. I saw a lot of people on Twitter mad at what's happening in Dublin and in Ireland between Conor McGregor's words on Twitter, what he said to the people of Ireland, and then how the rest of the world responded to the Irish people. And look, it wasn't everyone who rioted in the streets the other night, right? And burned down certain migrant stations. And did I tell you, since October 7th, I've seen the left parade around this fucking country like it's nobody's business, stop traffic, harass people having lunch and dinner, all kinds of nonsense, and nobody said shit about it. Climbing up onto the White House lawn, invading Congress people's offices, and you can't about that. But when the people of Ireland decide to take shit to the streets and get busy, the whole world reacts like it's it's some right-wing neo-Nazi movement. Like, wait a minute, what are we all talking about the same people here? Because you can't be sitting here screaming from the river to the sea, Palestine be free, and then be upset when Irish citizens who have had to fight off the British, then they went through a civil war between two political factions, then another overreach by Britain to reestablish control over the island. You gotta expect these people have been fighting for an ethno-state for centuries against all kinds of conquerors. So I just find it, weird that people get all mad about when the Irish people do it. There's a problem with that, even though, very specific interest in their national identity and keeping that separate from the rest of Europe, right? They've made that very clear. And if there's anybody out there, a nation state of people in Western Europe who are pretty laid back, for the most part, have a nice cultural existence, get along with people from all over the world, they're very hospitable, like to just lay back and not really get too involved with things and be busybodies. The Irish people, like, kind of, they exemplify that kind of spirit, maybe better than anyone. There should be no shock that the people of Ireland got violent when foreigners came to their soil, no matter what they look like, what country they're from, how heavy their accent is, or what words they're using. No one should be in shock that these people have had enough. Like, this ain't nothing new for the Irish people. They've been dealing with this, again, for centuries. To keep their identity separate from the rest of Europe. They are very proud of their Irish heritage and how they've been able to build up a pretty decent sized economy on a small little island with 7 million inhabitants with not a ton of natural resources or international trade going on. You got to hand it to the people there. I mean, they they work hard for everything they get. So this was all. And hopefully I'm going to have a guest on the middle of the week. I reached out to someone in Ireland who is, I'd say, one of the... He's an advocate for the immigrants, a lot of the migrants who are in Ireland right now, specifically in Dublin. And I reached out to him too on social media, and he got back to me. And I saw some people on Twitter saying he was saying controversial things about the situation going on right now. And I invited him to come on and talk about and give the migrants' perspective on the situation in Dublin right now in Ireland and how they're being treated. So I'm trying to set that up right now. Hopefully by tomorrow I'll have that done and I can announce it to you guys. But here's the article. The rise of Ireland's anti-migrant protests. This is by a gentleman named Peter Ryan. And he goes in and talks about the protests that have been on back in the beginning of 2023, end of 2022. It wasn't tens of thousands of people, but there were some large crowds. They were protesting against a couple incidents that had taken place between migrants who had come to Ireland, seeking a better life, and some of them came from war-torn countries. But they talk about a couple of the incidents here in the article of what happened. And I saw, people last night, some people were sticking up for the Irish, saying that this is far right and this is very racist and anti-migrant and is shameful and despicable behavior. And the people who went out in the streets are hooligans. I didn't find this shocking at all. Matter of fact, I think they kind of took it easy on the city, if you want to be completely honest. The Irish people can get rowdy when they want to get jiggy. And it didn't even seem like that much of... I mean, yeah, there was some burning and looting that went on, but overall, they're pretty well behaved. No one got killed, right? I guess that's success. If you can have any kind of protest like that and everyone makes it home that night. But, yeah, this was the article. And I saw this guy getting attacked. He was at the scene of the stabbing yesterday. I saw him getting attacked by a couple of influencers on TikTok. But yeah, apparently this has been going on for a little bit over there. I didn't know there was this increase in level of violence that was happening between the locals and some of the migrants who are there. And some of them, I guess, apparently the guy who got into the altercation the other night had been there in the country for 10 years. So wasn't like it was some, island hopper who just came from Lampedusa and has no idea about the Irish culture or hasn't had time to assimilate or, you know, any of that. See, from what I'm reading, he was there for a long time. So whether this was just a mental break that he went through, I don't know. But I know a majority of the people in Ireland didn't vote for this mass migration immigration policy. Yet their politicians continue to implement it and allow it to play out. Mad at. But yeah, hopefully I get that guest on this week. I really am interested in talking to him and hearing what he has to say. He's got some strong opinions on what's happening there, but you know, again, I don't know the details. I just saw a lot of the stuff that was on social media, and I was trying to break down best I could with the info. Everything was lined up as truth. Still haven't been able to see a mugshot of the killer or the. I don't know what that matters. I don't know. Pamela, how you doing tonight? What's going on, girl? How are you? Pam, did you hear that I might be rich tomorrow morning? I got a gift for the Tooth Fairy. Hopefully, she's gonna leave me some cold hard green. If not, I would take a Kit Kat bar instead. Javi, what's going on, my man? Good to see you tonight. Barry says, sounds like the U.S. I also didn't vote for this mass immigration. Me neither, man, huh? Me neither. I see Zelly Zell is in the comments. Zelly Zell, what's going on, girl? Good to see you. I had the chat down for a while, not on screen, so I didn't see who was in here. If you just came in and joined, like in the last 20 minutes, make sure you throw up your name in the chat so I can give you a shout out. Yeah, I'm pretty upset about this migration thing. But anyways, going back to Ireland specifically, and I ran into a story about this woman. And this is the rabbit hole I went sliding down last night head first for hours. I think I was up to almost 4, breaking this down, her whole background, and trying to find out her motives. Like, what drives this woman? What spurs her on?
Of Paideia here in Stockholm. She believes the current wave of anti-Semitism in Sweden will pass and that Jews have an important role to play in a country undergoing profound change.
I think there's a resurgence of anti-Semitism because at this point in time, Europe has not yet learned how to be multicultural. And I think we're going to be part of the throes of that transformation, which must take place. Europe is not going to be the monolithic societies that they once were in the last century. Jews are going to be at the center of that. It's a huge transformation for Europe to make. They are now going into a multicultural mode, and Jews will be resented because of our leading role. But without that leading role and without that transformation, Europe will not survive.
Paideia.
So her name's Barbara Lerner. And I can you guys have ever even heard of her, as I didn't until last night. I watched that video a couple times, and I went and watched the whole interview clip, which is about 30 minutes, about her center in Sweden that they were just filming her in. So the name of that company she runs is called Paideia, and they're out of Sweden, and they are a nonprofit organization. It's funded by the Israeli government. And I'm going to pull up their website right now so you guys see it. Because I wanted to have an understanding of, all right, well, who are these people? What is their mission statement and who funds them? Because that was a very interesting take on that Europe will die unless, and look, you can call me all you want, but the lady said the words herself, that there would be a lot of anti-Semitism because the Jewish people are pushing this mass migration onto the European population. Through what means, I don't know. That's her words, not mine. And that without it, Europe won't survive. Meaning, if the Jews of today, especially those who are in specifically her NGO in Sweden, which is called, and this is their website. I'm just going to put you guys on the main home page, just so you can see like kind of what they do and why I found this very strange. That someone would be saying something like that well ahead of where we are right now. I mean, she said this 5, 6, 7 years ago. It should be up on the screen now. Nope. Why is it not changing? Hold on. Close that. All right, one more time. Share screen. About Paideia. Share. Come on. There we go. Okay. Make this big so you guys can see what I'm reading. All right, so Paideia. It's a Greek thing. It's like sound body, sound mind, kind of. It's a thing from Pythagoras, I believe. It's like the motto that they're going with. All right, about Paideia. Paideia is a European academic institute founded in 2000 through grants from the Swedish government and the Marianne and Marcus Wallenberg Foundation as an academic and applied excellence, with the mandate to nurture the renewal of European Jewish culture, to support cross-cultural dialogue, and to promote a positive of a minority culture within European societies. Their mission. Paideia's mission is to actively promote the renewal and flourishing of European Jewish culture and intellectual life in the wake of the Holocaust and the trauma of communism, to support cultural diversity, and to disseminate humanistic values. Dedicated to the revival of the Jewish culture in Europe, Paideia educates leaders for Europe, academics, artists, and community activists, towards fluency in the Jewish textual sources that has served as the wellsprings of Jewish civilization. Paideia works both locally with the Stockholm Jewish community in various religious and cultural institutions, and at the international level, various fields: academia, social entrepreneurship, education, and culture. And they go on here to say that they don't reveal any of their members really, except for the founders. And then there's a thing here to donate and support. But what a weird thing to say. It seemed very, very strange to me that anyone would have been saying that 4, 5, 6 years ago. Like, how could she have known how much actual mass immigration to Europe there was going to be, or any of the Arab Spring, or any of that? How? And how would she be able to prophesy that unless there was some plan to it? And believe me, I was looking to try to find a way to not be able to correlate the two. But the more I dug last night, like, do you know that the guy from Israel who was fired, the gentleman that was the spokesperson, he was somewhere in the IDF, but you remember a few weeks back he mentioned something about, you know, the possibility of using nuclear armaments on Hezbollah or maybe Iran. He got fired by the Israeli government, but you know, he actually said in the speech, and this could be total coincidence, but he said, you know, we could send all the people of Palestine either to Iceland, Ireland. And then here it is 2 weeks later, and Ireland is at the center of this shitstorm with your normal, everyday, average Irishman and woman, again, whose families for generations have been defending that soil with their blood, sweat, and tears to keep a national Irish identity separate from the rest of the United Kingdom. I don't know. I find it very weird that she was able to identify this fact that would come, that if you had heard that 10 years ago, you would have said, what the hell was she talking about? Was she mad? There's no huge mass migration that the Western world is blaming Jewish people for, that's migrating Muslims to predominantly large
We heard there are people
countries in Europe. What are you smoking? But now, hearing someone say that, it doesn't sound so weird. And again, I am just kind of opening my eyes up to these very simple facts that are leading me to see who is really pulling the strings in this administration, government overall, and you know, nothing against the people that are doing it. They come from many different backgrounds. It's the hubris more than anything that bothers me. I don't care if it was Lebanese, you know, transsexuals, or popes from the Vatican, or if it's you know, crazy Likud party members from Israel. I don't want any other entity having as much control over the United States government as the Israeli government does right now to the US. I don't want that kind of relationship with anyone. That's like, you know, well, I'm not going to go into analogies about what it is. But the fact that anyone out there talking about the infiltration by Israel into the United States in all these different factions, if you can't admit up to that and talk about it without being called a bigot or anti-Semitic, I don't know. There's, you know, that we're in a lot of trouble in this country. I don't think it has anything to do with that. It's just following the money and seeing who's influencing the politicians, who's getting them elected, and what are they voting for. You know, to spit facts about that, I don't know. People can scream from the rooftops that that's somehow anti-Semitic, but yeah, I'm just not seeing it being that. I'm sure there are a lot of hard-working, decent people over in Israel who could care less about how much influence is wielded within the United States Congress to pass legislation and continue to fund huge military projects with the IDF. And you can say about Ukraine and a lot of other places right now. You know, the transsexual studies that are going on in Pakistan. I don't give a shit who it is. But let's just identify who the people are that are being of this system that continues to put our future generations of our children into debt. Who, you know, cui bono? Who benefits? Why would the Irish government come out and start creating this narrative that it was a bunch of far-right hooligans. Like, I don't know. This is something that's been happening over and over and over again. You continue to allow this policy to be implemented, even though you know it's putting a massive strain on the social security system in Ireland, on the housing authority in Ireland. There's not enough places for these people to live. They're out in the streets, therefore they're committing crimes in order to possibly feed their families or keep a roof over their head. Why would you allow that to continue if it's leading to chaos? And you can ask the same question about our very own government. Well, let's look at the police are in here. Our very own government and what they're doing at the southern border. Like, you got to know, people, you got to have seen the local news right now. Look what Joe Biden, how he has weaponized the Justice Department against a black mayor in New York City, Eric Adams, who will not stop complaining about the migrant situation. I find that so wild that no one's talking about that. I mean, it is blatantly obvious to me that as much as they're going after Trump right now, Eric Adams is right in Joe Biden's crosshairs. Or Ron Klain, or whoever it is who's running that administration right now, the press room and the DOJ. I mean, he's had his assistant's house raided by the FBI and sexual assault charges dropped on him in the last 2 of those things happened in the last 3 weeks after he tried to go down to get more money from Biden and was bitching and moaning on national TV saying, I don't see an end to New York for this crisis. That is wild. And people are saying that Trump's not being politically persecuted. They're doing it to poor Eric Adams right now in New York, who's got a big fat mouth and didn't know when to shut up and stop saying we're a sanctuary city and we can take anybody in and we got the funds. Don't worry about it. And now they're beating out black people in Queens for turkeys on Thanksgiving. Woof. It's crazy. Crazy. Brandon Johnson from Chicago is still saying they're a sanctuary city. The problem is everybody gets there and it's 3 below. And a lot of them now are just turning around and heading home because it's too cold. Pam says, John, my sister told me about their buffet. I haven't tried it. What buffet, Pam? Where? But Donkey, what's going on, man? Good to see you. I'm professional. Says, no need to study that. It's mental illness. Case solved. Kelton, what's going on, brother? Says, everyone who's crossing into USA via southern border isn't even Mexican. I know. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of Middle Eastern, Western African, Eastern African. Yeah. Pakistanis. Yeah. Yeah, Kelton. 100%. 100%. Yep. Fighting age, single men with no jobs. And look, again, in case that gentleman out there is listening right now, who I spoke with earlier in Ireland, I get frustration. I'm sure everything's not perfect over there right now, but look, we're all struggling right now, man. In North America, United States, Canada, Ireland, wherever you're from originally, whatever brought you to Ireland, it's not a lot easier on anywhere else in the world. That's the truth. John Crossan, what's going on, man? He says, I have not played BJ in years. I know how to win at Texas Hold'em. Morongo has Hold'em and slot. Up here right now, you have Morongo in San Diego? Is Morongo outside of San Diego? Morongo Casino? Isn't that guys used to own the Kings? Is that their property? Or am I mistaken? Let me fix this camera real quick. There we go. A little better. Pam says about Faye and Cali. All right, I missed it in the chat. My chat dropped off a little while. I just was catching up and saw the last couple comments you guys made. Yeah, Kelton. Kelton says the migrants crossing into our country will be used to sway votes in elections. In possibly extreme scenarios, sleeper cells, army of untracked and unregistered individuals free to move at any time be activated. Yeah, I don't know, Kelton, what they're planning for 2024. 2024, yeah. I don't know. But it can't be BLM. Speaking of which, you guys know Friday night's live stream I was talking about my George Floyd video on Rumble. How I got 7,000 views on Rumble compared to 250 on YouTube. Even though I had no subscribers on Rumble. You see what happened in prison yesterday? Pretty wild, huh? Telling you. People do not want the truth out there. They really don't. Mainstream don't want to listen to this shit. They don't want to hear about Chauvin or January 6th or anything that's going to destroy the Nashville shooter. Anything that doesn't line up with how they see the oppressed versus oppressor right now. You can forget it. All right, let's see if this comes up. Hopefully. There it is. Just 24 hours after a few views on that Fall of Minneapolis video talking about Derek Chauvin and drug report, the tox report, the autopsy, the FBI's involvement. Somebody walked up to him in Gen Pop at this minimum security prison in Arizona and shanked. They were doing life resuscitate. They were trying to resuscitate him on the floor of the jail as early as yesterday morning. And Beverly was in the live stream the other night when I was talking about this, and she said, "Oh, who cares about?" And hi, Beverly, if you're listening. She said, "Oh, who cares about George Floyd and Derek Chauvin? That was 3 years ago. This guy's life right now is in jeopardy. His conviction and him sitting in prison right now was a political lynching, and he wouldn't have got a fair trial anywhere inside the United States, and he certainly didn't get one in Minneapolis. And I don't necessarily agree with what he did, his actions that day. I think it was very poor judgment, and I don't care if he was trained in that or not. Again, now seeing all the extra footage and everything in context, it's really difficult to call it murder in my eyes. I got a hard time coming around to that anymore. I think the world needed a scapegoat, and the government needed they needed to see someone punished, whether it was legit or not. Someone had to be the fall guy for George Floyd's death. And, it could have had a ton of influence on the 2020 election. BLM burning down buildings, killing in the street, scaring the shit out of weak white people. Could have had a lot to do with why Joe Biden got elected. Make no mistake about it. A lot of that shit was very political. Look at BLM. It's run by a bunch of fat Marxist lesbians. You think they give a shit about BLM? Who want to destroy the nuclear family? No one that was shot by police officers in 2020 got a dime from BLM. But again, yeah, why is that important still talking about that in 2023? I mean, maybe you justify Chauvin by saying, well, for all the dirty cops out there who got away with something in the past because there wasn't a camera around, or roughed up some young black child, or Puerto Rican, or whatever their nationality is. Okay, maybe he's taking the fall for past sins. But again, is that the kind? can we really call that a democracy? Can we call that a constitutional republic if people don't have the right to a fair trial in this country? Like, where do we draw again? Where do you start drawing the line? Where do you start drawing the line between what is fair, what is constituted as poetic justice? This mouse is running shit right now. Everything is really slow right now, guys. Sorry, but I wasn't expecting to run the tooth tonight, so I thought I'm to set everything up. Kelton says exactly. The media changed the narrative on every situation. Like Mike says, mass facts. Yeah, man, that's the thing, right? Like, look, I get that there's a lot of racist incidents have happened in the past in this country. That's not lost on me. I understand that we have a history. So does the rest of the world. There's not any people out there right now throughout in mankind, modern human beings, since the Bronze Age or Stone Age, maybe even, that haven't had some form of slavery built into their Magna Carta until 200 years, right? When Eastern nations decided to crack down on the West African slave trade and start attacking the Barbary pirates in the Mediterranean and the East Atlantic, because the kings and rulers of a large swath of Africa were still enslaving their own people or their tribal enemies and selling them to Arab nations to ship back east, even farther off into the Orient. They would bring them to the southern Mediterranean in Rome and Constantinople. Then, almost 1 million men went and fought brutal, bloody civil war. Roads and hill country of this, neighbor against neighbor, to put an end to slavery once and for all, at least in the West. We tend to forget about all that when we talk about how much we should feel all the regret from what's happened in the past, and we should live with white guilt and this sin that is whiteness. Again, I consider myself that white, right? Like I'm more probably Middle Eastern than I am Irish or French Canadian or English. That's for sure. Probably more to me than anything west of the Dnieper River, right? But I think it's important to remember that this concept was not new. We didn't invent it. This is something that happened throughout history, and we happen to be the cultures that were better than that and said, no, we're not going to allow this anymore. We're going to put an end to this, and then we're going to go fight other nations who continue to do it at the expense of our own people. Kelton says, I'm Native American. My heritage had it worse than any other race as far as Americans becoming colonized and then settling. The true meaning of Thanksgiving and what each food symbolizes is tragic. Yeah, Kelton, I guess same thing here, right? Live streams about this fight between Israel and Hamas, right? Now, my ancestors weren't here and your ancestors on this land, but at some point, European settlers went to war with some of the Indian tribes all over this country who, let's not forget, had been warring with each other for centuries and millennia before that, killing, enslaving, raping, doing all the same things, right? Again, we didn't start this new trend. This is something that's been going. Armies have come up against each other. They fought over land. They fought over religion. They fought over women. There are winners and losers. And no one, me or you, Kelton, right now, knows that is alive right now, fought with a bow and arrow or a six-shooter and rode on the back of, with the 9th Cavalry. Right? No one. Matter of fact, if anything, probably our forefathers, our grandparents, in one of a couple different conflicts to make sure that we be able to preserve the freedoms that we're enjoying right now. Like me being able to get on here and talk openly. A lot of elders went and laid down their lives for that. So we had this. I think we take that for granted sometimes, and I think take that for granted. Whether you're a white settler or a Native American from, the Massalorian tribe up where I'm from, or if you're the ancestors of, Guinea-Bissau or the Congo, right? We all have different stories, and we're all going through trials and tribulations to get to where we are right now, at this point in history. And it's probably never been fair for any one man to go out and make something of himself. If he really wants to put the time in there, and he's not going to let falling out hold him back from a live stream. That sounds terrible. I'm falling apart over here. But Donkey says, just remember, Pam, you're not alone. What's the matter, Pam? We're here to break the wheel. Like, when I talk about all that stuff, that's for people all over this country and all over this world who got started with this whole stock thing and this community and are in the chat right now, each other, and that we are better together as a group, fighting for common causes, things we can agree on. What makes this such a great thing, see it kind of going to shit. I enjoyed having you guys and we'll talk about this stuff. Pam, are you in Vegas right now? Is that why you're talking about gambling and buffets? But yeah, man, so getting back to the Barbara Lerner comments. Yeah, I thought that was really interesting what she said. She knew that there was going to be this inkling that people are going to have deep down in their bones and be talking about anti-Semitism. Words not mine. She said, but if the Jewish people don't do this, if we don't integrate Europe will not survive. Now, I don't know. Was Europe on a death spiral before Barbara Lerner and the European survivors of the Holocaust got together? And I don't know. I just find that very weird. I don't know. Like, now looking back at it, that was a very strange statement to make. How could you possibly have known that we were going to come to this period in time? Unless you somehow had a direct hand or involvement in it. Yeah, I found it wild that the Irish government turned on their own people. Instead of saying, maybe we got some issues we got to deal with here, and made a couple mistakes on the numbers and didn't realize how much stress this would put on the education system and the welfare state and all that. A little tiny nation of 7 million people that's completely surrounded by water and, has been under the thumb of Great Britain for the last couple centuries. Yeah. Again, if there's a couple things, if there's one group of people you don't fuck with, I would think it would be anyone, including themselves, the greatest military power on the planet. Give a fuck about anything except preserving their national identity. And some people see that as a bad bad thing. It didn't seem like it was a problem up until a couple weeks ago, even a couple days ago. No one had an issue with Israel wanting to separate itself from the rest of the British Isles and that greater empire and keep their traditional culture alive and off the midst of the British and any other invader. And yeah, I don't know. That's sometimes that's just the way things go. That's the way things go. I think they have every right in the world to be upset that they're being blamed for the actions of others and for the policies that probably a lot of them never necessarily voted on or for. But that there's a bigger agenda at play here. And they're suffering the consequences of that. And can the migrants be upset with the Irish people for their actions the other day? I don't know. I'd say give them, guys. They've been on just amount of pressure since history has been recorded about the Irish people. Whether it's famine or invasion or the Viking, there's always something with them, right? They are some roughnecks. And you to beat the odds every time it looks like they're blessed. I got a lot of respect for the Irish people, honestly. But yeah, I really hope I get this guy on who went on Twitter talking about the migrant situation. I would like to hear the other side of this. Gregor, and I've heard some of the politicians and what they've said and the people in the streets of Ireland the last couple of days. I'd like to get the migrant story on this and see if it's maybe able to change my mind on how I feel about this. But as of right now, I think the media and the government is way out of line, the way they're describing these people. I think I get where they're coming from. If we saw that happening right now in the U.S., say in Boston, just for example, there was a large Venezuelan migration crisis going on, and girls who grew up in Boston who I knew or daughters of my friends were getting assaulted by these Venezuelan migrants who were being prioritized over the children that are citizens of this country that are my friend's daughter or my own, niece or nephew or whatever. I would probably feel the same way, and I bet you any migrant would feel the same way if the roles were reversed. Maybe that's how you end up in Ireland in the first place. Because something like that happened to you. The right to go do that to someone else? I don't think so. But yeah, I hope I have him on, and we get to discuss this live for you guys. And I'll make sure I keep everything updated as soon as I talk to him further, which will probably be tomorrow. But yeah, I'd like to hear them. I'd like to hear what the migrants have to say about the situation last year. How the government been treating them? Are they, hanging on with a thread? Maybe would it be better if they went back to their own country right now? I don't know. I want to hear from someone who actually lives there and is just going through the experience. So hopefully he gets on. Kelton says that's the main problem with our who Congress representation set up with our government. Main issue is no term limits on senators and the major age discrepancy in senators and current voters needs to come to a close. Yeah. We got a bunch of narcissistic, entitled, and crazy ass boomers who are playing God right now with all of our lives because they are on their way out, figuratively or spiritually, and they don't have anything to lose right now, everything to gain. And I don't think they care what that means for the rest of us. The consequences we'll suffer from the action right now, as far as the crumbling of an empire and generational wealth and just the very basic things right now of not even being able to afford to get married, buy a house, and have children. They've completely sucked that ability out of 75-80% of the millennials coming up right now in the world. John says we have the best government that money can buy, and it has. That's a great line, John. It's true. We have government that money can buy, and it has. They have bought themselves time, years upon years of re-elections, houses, yachts. They've done extremely well for themselves, right? I mean, look, we can sit here and laugh about that statement, right? But we should be fucking pissed, really. You know? We should really be putting the heat on these people. I think it's coming. I really do. I don't know what it's going to be that's going to be the snap where people just fucking lose it. I don't know what's gonna be that flashpoint, that trigger. It's gonna have to be pretty crazy, right? But like, look, I was watching this guy earlier on YouTube. He was showing some videos from January 6th that just came out at the House. Kevin McCarthy was the House Speaker for 9 months. Why is it he wasn't able to release this footage? Really got to be wondering right now, what the fuck in DC that a Republican majority Speaker of the House promises to drop this information, very basic, request for videotape footage of an event that took place at our Capitol that Democratic leaders have called a combination of 9/11 and Pearl Harbor. That he would rather be ousted as speaker than be responsible for leaking those videos. Not even leaking them. Congress has every right to them and to give them to the public. It's where they belong. They should have been there from the jump. All the lawyers for everyone who went to trial that was at January 6th that had a court date should have had access to all 40,000 hours of that footage. It could be a make or break in any of their cases. Something in footage. The attorneys weren't allowed to view that footage is a crime in itself. Along with holding it back from the American people, that is the house that we pay taxes for. No matter how you want to slice it about, what it represents up on the hill, that it represents Congress, it's still called the people's house because we fucking fund it. At the end of the day, it is ours. Until they tell me I don't have to pay federal tax anymore in that building. Pam says, sorry, Mass, I have to go. I have to get up early. Pam, love you. Have a good night, hon. Thanks for coming by and support me. Much love, much love. Table Rock guy says, drain the swamp. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. It's been going down this rabbit hole with APAC and yeah, it's been really crazy. I find myself thinking thoughts in my head. I don't think that they're bad. I'm concerned about the future of our people and the holding up this constitutional republic that we live in. It's like hanging on by a thread right now. And any outside influence that I feel like is a threat to that, we're going to have a problem, right? I don't like the idea of any other country in the world having that much power over my elected officials, where they can literally have a blank check written to them fiscal year after fiscal year while we continue to fuck up hundreds of billions in debt that we're never going to be able to even pay off. And I think if you don't have a legitimate concern with that, you're not being honest with yourself. And you're probably part of the problem of how we got here in the first place. Because as long as they're getting their pockets filled in DC and continue getting reelected, you're right. They're not going to listen to 80% of us who probably want a ceasefire right now in Israel and in Gaza. They're not. as long as they're up on stage giving thanks to some of these organizations that are backed by the Israeli government, you can forget it. I don't know what to tell you. That's just the facts of. They talk about it on their own website. They brag about they have a 98% win ratio for the candidates that they back, who in turn back any from Israel. That's an incredible winning percentage. 98% of their particular candidates get elected. That is phenomenal. That means if you got up to bat 100 times, 98 of them, the House Majority Leader, they're doubling down on some that they weave. Do I think it's some global cabal? Cult? I don't know. I just know who pays these companies, what they do, who they influence, and how they keep their people in seats of this to free up. I don't know, man. AMC Ape, what's going on, man? He says we have to remain optimistic because they want us to become depressed. I know, AMC Ape. I just think we got to keep making sure we're talking about these issues that we're having. Putting us in a hole right now. Like, as much as it's not something that, I don't enjoy talking about this. I really don't. I think the swamp has just gotten way too comfortable and way too paid to change anything anytime soon. Again, which is why I want to have my concerns about the market right now and going after, anyone or anyone who are, using manipulation on the stockers. Look what happened with Robinhood and Citadel back in the GameStop hearings. I mean, it's not even serious, right? They're not even taking us serious. They are part of the problem right now of why we're down 90% in AMC stock. I think that's a fact. These people are the status quo. They want to keep the market as it is now, meaning that the billionaires continue to make billions and continues to lose with an occasional W here or there. Very lucky and caught these guys with their pants down and made them and spanked them for it, right? But at all costs, they will keep the status quo. Jay said actors cheating the system to the tunes of hundreds of billions. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, man. I'm trying to stay optimistic. It's just important that we don't lose sight of, the people who are involved in all these things that we are going to see have a major impact on our lives very soon. Whether it's the mass migration and that pressure they're going to start putting on the housing situation with where you're going to be able to work, where you're going to be able to get your health care, who's going to be sitting next to your kids in class, who are going to have to worry about walking home from work that might be high because they haven't had, a fix in a couple of days, waiting to rob you. I don't want to just let these people off the hook when all is said and done. I think there needs to be some accountability if you leave this for us to clean up for you. Because a laissez-faire attitude and you continue to suck the blood out of the rest of us to stay in power. Mike says 15-minute cities. Yeah. Kelton says the unpurchased but sold assets amount. I mean, did you see that the other day? Is that not? Think about that for a second. How are they allowed to continue to do that? That to me is insane. And then take that to a whole nother level, because remember, when we're depositing money into the banks, they're also taking that money and they only have to hold 10% of it in cash on hand at any given time of the day. The 90% of that is extra, they can do whatever they want with. Put it into the market, give it to someone for a loan. So they're really only holding down in the bank 10% of our cash. The other 90% they're using to fuck us with. That's how crazy it is. But Donkey says, I'm still buying every week. But Donkey, you just buying AMC right now, or a little? Are you getting into a total meme bag or crypto? What are you buying? Jay says, I'm over 10,000 in value stocks and calls. Going to add more next week will be different, my honest opinion. Yeah, I saw, so I was saying earlier, I went to go over to watch Ant's trades earlier to try and look at some TA and what his thoughts are. What did he say? He said, I wrote it down. He said there's going to be a lot of chop this week, and there's a 99% chance that we can either go down to the pennies or to 1,400 in the next few weeks. That was the update. So, quite a wide range of things that could happen, I guess. That's fucking wild. From a couple pennies to 1,400. I guess you're going to be right, probably. It's probably going to fall somewhere in between that number, if I had to guess. They're still waiting on margin calls. Yeah, I know. What happened with margin calls? Yeah, I know. Guys, still, how do they have available capital to them right now? Like, where are they getting money to continue to put up this brawl? We heard margin calls back at the end of 2021. That was when rumblings about that started happening. Jay says, Ant Trader says, end of December, beginning in January, or else. Okay, is that what he said, right? That around mid-January, we're going to either head to, I wrote down, like a 7-minute mark. He said, this week a lot of chop. And then after the 15th, we're either going to a couple pennies or squeeze into the fucking moon, 1,400. Those were his exact words. So, I'm going to assume he's going to be dead on with that price assessment. Somewhere between a couple pennies and 1,400. I'm Professional says it will be different. It's going to $5. Yeah, is that what you think? I'm Professional? You think that you think it's going down more? Professional says Ant Trader has been wrong at least 4 times now. Yeah, he gets. I guess he gets some things right and he gets some things wrong, right? Again, this is a tough stock to do technical analysis on. Believe it, a lot of guys have tried. Think of how many guys we've seen. You guys have been with me for a while now. Badonk, I'm full. Kelton, I haven't seen you a lot in the chat, but welcome anyways. But some of the other guys who have been, we've had our share of people who have come in to try. They have come and gone, and then a new guy pops up in their plate, gets hot for a while, and be able to make a couple calls based off, Fibonacci sequence or some long action that he hits. Jay said he said moon or 0. Yes, it can go down a bit more before the squeeze, but I don't see 5. Yeah, that's what he said, Jay, right? Moon or 0. Professional says Nicholas. Now, he's another guy I saw people talking about. Avi was talking about him. Nicholas Pantano has it nailed. I'm Professional. Like, what part does he have nailed? About the, about the historical chart and what is he dealing with? Calls? What is he doing over on his channel? Is he buying shares or what? Kelton says every guy is right on E in a while. Remember Astro? Right? Yeah. The fractals. Yeah, I remember them all, man. Believe me. The dog says little crypto just went all in on AMC. You can't convince me this company is worth less than. I know. But Badonk, you know what I say to that? You convinced me before the reverse split that they could have zapped $1.2 billion in market cap out of this company. I would have said you were crazy back then. But they did. Like, man, that was one of the biggest talkers to me of this whole place since I got in back in early 2021 was seeing that price run down after the reverse split. That was really appalling to me. That was just something I never thought I would have never guessed that would have happened. I would have said you were nuts. Had you said, listen, but I'd suck half of this fucking $2 billion market cap out in 5 days. I would have said, you're on crack right now. Fucking get out of my face. But sure shit, they did it. Jay says about 4 folks agreed about one more new low, which happened already. I showed proof and timelines on each video before the new low happened. I was prepared for March squeeze, but most say the same as Ant. Like Mike says, get out and wave American flags. I still hear people today on YouTube, on Twitter, on X, sometimes doing space calls and live streams, talking about they get triggered by the American flag, man. People are taking full-fledged advantage of capitalism right now. And, not being able to accept that the American flag triggers them. Pretty sad. First one says both. He's played it up and down, slow rise over time with pops on points of interest. Ape and dilution killed the moonshot. People act like nothing has happened since 2021. Yeah, I know. I'm professional, right? Yeah, we've been through a lot of things that nobody could have predicted when we first got into this. Shin, what's going on, man? Says, yo, Mass. Good to see you, bro. Yeah, we've been through a lot of shit since 2021, man. Since March and April of 2021. I bought my first shares in March 2021. And I started my channel in April of 2021. And a lot has happened since then. I mean, damn. A lot has happened that none of us could have been prepared for. None of us could have figured out or have been able to anticipate well ahead of time that could have made a significant change in portfolios on any given day. That's just the facts. We have all just been along for the ride with like everyone else. Alice says my flag is flying proudly on the front of my house. I'd like to hear that. It's good to hear, Alice. When I get back to New England, I'm gonna make sure I go down. I gotta get my grandfather's folded from my family. They've been holding it for me, and I need to go get it when I get home. Kelton says that's wild. How can the country reside in flag? I don't know. Yeah, it's really weird. Like if I was triggered by the American flag, I would probably just move. If I really got some kind of feeling of uneasiness by looking at an American flag, I probably wouldn't live in America anymore. I'd probably leave instead of coming onto YouTube and saying how much I hate the American flag, while fully taking advantage of guys' platform making money on at the expense of others. Because without the people who fought and died for that flag, you wouldn't have the ability to do that. But Donkey says this will be a slow multi-year squeeze if we win, just like unless margin calls happen. Yeah, man. Again, Badonk, right? At this point now, I'm down so much money. Why in God's green earth would I sell unless I found myself backed into a corner that, I had no other choice. I needed the money to get a place to stay or a roof over my head or something like that. But I would take an extreme loss right now if I could at all. Hold on for a little longer to see how. The dog says, Mass bought a blue check mark on Twitter. The only reason why is because that's right, Badonky. You talked me into it, bro, the other day again. I was like, you know what? Badonk's got a point. If Elon is going to promote free speech, like real free speech, and really let us speak our minds, even if it bothers people, then that $8 or $15, whatever, he's right. Elon, I think Elon deserves. I don't feel bad giving that to him if he's going to take he allows on the platform. 100%, man. You convinced me. Just like Jimmy Dore convinced me, you convinced me about paying for the mark. So thank you, man. Feek says 3 a.m. live. Sorry the other day I saw you were commenting on someone's video I was watching. Maybe it might have been Ants Trades, Feek. I thought I saw you drop a message and I said, what's up? Feek says, bro, I'm buying more, selling my shop and buying 5,000 shares. Really? Wow, man. Are you are you in the same camp with is that where I saw you, Feek, on Ants Trades in the comments, maybe? Tell me if that's possible. For some reason that's like ringing a bell right now. But are you in the same you have the same opinion as him? As far as that sometime around mid-January we're gonna see this thing pop to 1,400? You must have some kind of positive inkling if you're making that kind of move. Professor says, I haven't bought in 2 years because I knew it wasn't going down, even though most of the comments screamed average down, LOL, nah, I'll wait some more. Yeah, man, that was my whole thing too, right? Once I ran out of cash to continue to average down, I just stopped averaging down, right? I just said, all right, well, this is gonna be my price point's gonna be, and hopefully the reverse split. I don't lose too much of that, but I wish I just kept averaging down because right now it's costing me a lot not doing that. No. Oh yeah, Feek. No, I didn't mean 1,400 exactly, but are you under that impression that it's off the races after that year cycle of the algo's over? Kelton says shit like that just doesn't happen in normal life, where they're loading up burning debris into dump trucks while flames visibly burned on the material being loaded up. That's wild. Yeah. I don't know why I can't see the live stream chat. Feek said all-time lows, nothing but up. Yeah. Yeah, man. We're at rock bottom. Holy shit. Yeah. Yeah. That's a fact we can all agree on, right? These are all-time lows for this stock since they launched their IPO. No doubt about that. That is facts. And again, a company that's improved its the last 8 quarters in a row, right? Or 7 out of the last 8 quarters. Feek says community's still strong, but I think when we see a new president, it's all green. Yeah, that could certainly send a surge into the market. Certainly could. That's for sure. There might be a lot of hope leading up to that if there's looking like it's going to be a blowout win and that one candidate or the other might win by 4 or 5 states, swing states that they already know are pretty much locked up before election night. You could see a big move in the market, before the actual numbers come out. Let's see. Feek says, remember extreme gains? Yes, Feek, I do. Yep. I do remember extreme gains. What about them? I'm Professional says, even AMC haters, which they were 100% correct saying the stock was overvalued, are now saying it's undervalued. If the board doesn't F up, it's going up soon, but dilution is still there. Yeah. Yeah. Feek says he called this shit all the way. I can't believe it. What do you mean, Feek? Elaborate. Wait, all right. So he says when it was 17, I sold some. I remember he said it'll go to 3. Super says, what's going on? Haven't followed AMC in months now. Super, you haven't? It's funny, man, because I haven't been really talking a lot of AMC. Ask the guys in the chat. I've been kind of focused in on other things the last couple of weeks. The migrant crisis. The other night we were talking about Ireland and the war in Israel. We've been basically talking about everything but AMC. But tonight, I'll be honest, I finally heard back from Adam Aaron today in an email. And I got to communicate with him a little bit today about a few things. And so I like I said, I called Tony before I came on, see if he wanted to collab. I want to talk about what we talked about in the emails today. But then my fucking tooth fell out. And we're on an hour and a half late. Because I had to get everything tied up in my mouth and make sure I could talk. Kelton says, Badonk says, best 3 quarters in company's history. Right. Kelton says, what if Biden receives the most votes of any presidential nominee again for back-to-back record-breaking performances at the polls? Felton, man, I don't know. If we see that, we got no hope that the election's ever going to be fair again, man. We can just call it a wrap on this country. Feek says he has a snake algo he was tracing, but I haven't seen him post it for a while. When do you remember that beat? When was that you remember that coming out, Feek, from his channel? By the way, Tony told me earlier that Morant's Rants deleted like 400,000 videos from his channel. Is that true? I already written off my loss mentally, but still hold, Shin says. Shin, I'm glad you're still here, man. It's good to see you in the comments every once in a while. Keep me motivated, bro. Professional says AMC will not run until Trades emerges from the shadows. If he came out and did a bid, I go all call simulation theory. Oh man, that's funny. That's good stuff, man. If Trades came out and did a bullish video, I'd buy fucking $40 calls tomorrow. True that, bro. That's fact. The dog says, keep it up, Mass. Don't give up. I'm not giving up, man. I just, there was a lot going on in the world. And, AMC was kind of just chilling and hanging around this kind of crappy number right now. Nothing exciting going on. Besides having a better than average quarter. I think better than a lot of us expected. And we got some good announcements, right? Like I said, I just talked to Adam Aaron today through email a couple times. So, yeah, I'm still holding, man. I said that to him in the email. I was like, listen, man, I said, I've held through 72 and, all the way from when I first bought in at $4 or $5 a share. I didn't sell before the reverse split. And, right now, I need to make sure I can have some faith in your C-suite and everyone's working under you and that, you guys are doing everything you can to keep us afloat here because, we're counting on you to continue to make moves. They're going to bring us towards more and more profitability and closer to out of debt. I'm not gonna go anywhere. I just, it was aggravating that they were demonetizing me for anything but AMC. Unless it was an AMC video, they were taking away me. This really got me frustrated. Probably more than anything. I mean, obviously, I hate that I held through 72 and didn't take advantage of arbitrage, but those days are long past me now. I had to get over that a while ago, right? Dominic, what's going on, man? Good to see you in the chat. AMC Ape says, I love the AMC hype videos made in 2019. But Dog says, Marantz is a first class as whole. Yeah, man, I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy. He went and deleted a ton of videos off his channel and set it up some other things. I don't know. After he made fun of all of us for doing that when we saw our channel struggling. Like, that was just me a couple nights ago, right? I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't afraid to come on and admit, like, listen, times are rough right now on YouTube. But he made fun of everyone else who did it for years, and now he's doing it too. No, but Donk, no. I'm good with that, man. I was too busy dealing with my tooth to ask for a dick pic. Trying to fucking clear out my gum. Make sure it doesn't get infected. Kelton says, chunk all that money into college like never before. Left my ass up. Yeah, man, I'm very lucky. I don't hear a major difference in my voice or pronunciation of any of the words tonight. I might dodged a major bullet for now. I thought I was going to have to go in and fight with the grocery store for them to take care of my dental work and be like, listen, this is not my problem. So I might have just fucking dodged a huge bullet. So I'm actually in a much better mood than I was earlier. I was really afraid this tooth's coming out tonight. When I felt it make that ultimate move that there was no going back, like when I knew it wouldn't fit back down into that space ever again comfortably, I definitely had a moment of panic. All right, so let me give you guys a quick breakdown of what's going on. So I'm going to finish this video tomorrow morning about the conversation with AA and what Wes Christian was saying in that live stream the other night. Just give you guys my thoughts on it. I don't know if that guy is all smoke and mirrors or what. I really don't know. I have a hard time putting my finger on what his intentions are and whose side he's really on. I just don't know. He's been a tough one for me to have a gut feeling on. Like, Matt Kors, I knew within six to 7 minutes of watching that kid that I just had a bad feeling about him. Wes Christian is, I don't know, maybe he's just very charismatic, but I'm having a hard time putting my finger on where that guy's head is at right now, what his true intentions are. I heard him talking about going after C-suite of these companies that are not doing anything to fight back against the manipulation that's taking place in the market. He specifically, let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, let me put it up for you guys real quick. Should be able to share this screen. Okay. I don't have these clips labeled, but let me see here. Make sure you guys can see this. I'll make for you. Let me take this down for a sec. All right. I'm going to actually just make this big all the way. Maybe I can put myself in the corner while we play it. Okay, there we go. I'll play this video for you guys. This is what he said. I believe this is from yesterday's podcast.
Bomb they're sitting on and puts a nuclear bomb that can implode the world. That's my view. I'm transparent. I'm not as, up on the Canadian. I've been up there, done a lot of work there with my friend at Pollier Roland, Chris Pollier. He's a fabulous lawyer, and we're working on something. I can't really divulge what that is, but we're trying to look into the ways to do it. But it's in Canada, and we're better to piggyback off the American jurisprudence, which I'm hoping is going to get followed by the courts if anything gets filed there. But they don't have to do that legally. They can look at it. They do have to do that legally in court in the United States. So that case takes this atom bomb they're sitting on and puts a nuclear bomb that can implode the world. That's my view. But imagine what the contingent liability is that's sitting out there on the books of these brokerage firms, even at mark to market today. And it's not just what's here, ladies and gentlemen. It's what's overseas, because we're now seeing massive more activity overseas. And I'm pursuing that. As I say, our team are pursuing that, and everybody on the phone. Things are changing.
All right, so that was one video. Let me share it on with you guys. There's twice I saw today. Again, before we came on. Oh, the other thing I was going to tell you guys, I'm also finishing the video on Ireland for tomorrow. I'll see if I get that guy on, that gentleman from the migrant there. That's the TikTok influencer. I see only one here. I guess I'll bookmark the one. Yeah, this other stuff is all negative stuff that I was going to look over for the video. But yeah, so in for tomorrow. My thoughts on it. And tomorrow night will be the last live. So I think it's going to be 8 o'clock East Coast time tomorrow night. I'll put the thumbnail up pretty early. But like I said, the tooth is out, so there'll be no need for last minute adjustments tomorrow night. I should be right on time. Whatever time that is, like I said, I'll put in the thumbnail. But yeah, the Ireland video will drop tomorrow. And there'll probably be one more update that I have to give you guys. But yeah, that should be it. That should be it. It is just about to be 1 o'clock here on the West Coast, and I got to keep it down. After 1 is quiet time here, so I can't be screaming into this mic anymore. But yeah, thank you guys for not giving me a ton of shit for coming in so crazy late. And T, if you're listening to this, sorry that I couldn't get back to you, but yeah, I think that was my canine, so that sucks that tooth is out. But damn, I might have dodged a serious bullet tonight. All right, guys, I'm feeling a lot better that I'm able to talk right now, and you guys can understand me. I thought I was going to have a major problem. So I'm very blessed. I don't sound terrible right now. All right, guys, thank you for coming by, hanging out. Like I said, tomorrow night I'll be on time, and we'll talk about this a little bit more. I'll go back in and find that other clip. Matter of fact, what I'll probably do is just cut up the parts that I thought were significant in the whole interview. Who knows? Maybe he's got something that can really help us. I don't know. I don't know. I can't put my finger on him. I don't know what to expect. I don't know if he's just out there blowing smoke up everyone's ass or if he's really got something brewing. But yeah, I'll cut that video up a little bit more tomorrow. We'll have it ready for the live stream tomorrow night. Again, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. If you missed the live stream the other night, sorry I was late. And I love you guys. Be on tomorrow night again. Keep your head up, and Thanks for all the support and keeping this channel alive, guys. Much love. Have a good night. Peace.